I'm joined now by Daniel Deace, the political watchdog columnist for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel right here in Wisconsin, and Steve Deace, host of the Steve Deace Show and author of Rules for Patriots, How Conservatives Can Win Again. So, gentlemen, let's start off on the controversy that Chris was just talking about with some of those voters. This issue of the former Miss Universe, Donald Trump's struggles with women. Dan, I want to start with you. What is the implication of that here in Wisconsin with Republican women, with these suburban women that he needs to win over? What are you hearing?
It's not going to go over well. Wisconsin does not like Donald Trump, and he's performed very poorly here. He lost in the primary. His numbers are not good. I mean, he's closed the gap somewhat, but, you know, his performance in the debate, I don't think helps him at all here.
Steve, as we take a look now of live pictures, this is happening now of Hillary Clinton landing in New Hampshire, and there's Donald Trump as well. There's Secretary Clinton. She's shaking hands on the tarmac there as she gets ready to head to that event with Bernie Sanders to try to win over millennials. I want to ask you what you're hearing from your listeners there in Iowa, which is another key battleground. Donald Trump is there today. What are they telling you about Alicia Machado, about the Miss Piggy discussion?
You know, this is not necessarily a state where I think a subplot like that is going to make a big difference in the vote. Okay. It's been a weird year here in Iowa. You know, 4 years ago, a lot of the Republican machine was running anti-Romney ads on statewide radio because they thought he would actually cut government subsidies to ethanol. This go around, the Republican machine is staunchly in favor of Trump. On the other hand, if you actually drove around Iowa and looked on the ground, you would not think there's an election happening here. There's very little energy. There's very little organization going on. And I think that's reflected in the latest Loras College poll of our state that had both Hillary and Trump mired at 38%. So this is more winnable for Trump as a Republican than it has been for Republicans in a long time. But I wouldn't say that he has it cinched yet.
Steve, let me stick with you here because you and I crossed paths back during the primaries when I was covering Senator Ted Cruz. He is now offering to help, apparently, Donald Trump with debate prep. He said he's open to it, happy to help. The Trump campaign apparently thinking about taking him up on it for the next debate. 7 days ago, Cruz would not even say that he would vote for Donald Trump. That changed Friday. But what is your take on the impact that Cruz could have here?
I think the only impact Ted Cruz is having is on his own political future, and I think it remains to be seen whether that is positive or negative. I don't think it will move a block of voters whatsoever. As you well know, I'm pretty well connected with a lot of Cruz voters around the country, and their opinions are viciously split along the lines of what they think about this. So I think this has more to do with Ted Cruz's future than what the outcome is going to be on November the 8th.
Dan, back to Wisconsin here. Jobs and the economy seems to be the issue that is resonating a lot with voters here. Right. What does Donald Trump, what does Hillary Clinton need to do to try to land a punch here to try to face some of these folks on this issue?
It's a tough thing because the voters are not happy with either candidate. Right. Donald Trump's heading right into the heart of Republican territory with his visit tonight in Waukesha County. But that's an area that's very unhappy with him. He lost the county by more than 30 points to Ted Cruz. And it wasn't so much that people liked Ted Cruz. It was more a vote against Donald Trump. So what can they do to help tell people that they can improve the economy? I'm not sure that there's very much they can do. I think what they've done most of the time when they've been here is attack one another. What's interesting to watch, you've talked a lot about polls. There are two ways to watch this race. One is to look at the polls. The second is to look at the activity by the candidates. Over the last 4 elections, Wisconsin has been flooded with candidate visits. That's not been the case this year. Yeah. Trump's, this is only his second visit. Hillary Clinton's not made a visit here. So right now, I think the campaigns both are acting as if they believe this is still a Hillary state.
Daniel Deace, Steve Deace, thank you both for being with us as we take a look now at Hillary Clinton landing in New Hampshire, where she is getting ready for that rally with Bernie Sanders.